3 diamond necklaces, 2 designer handbags, 1 private jet booking, and then a children's hospital bill for N847,000. The ballroom went dead silent. Mr. Okonkwo stood frozen at the microphone, credit card receipt trembling in his hand. His 3 glamorous finalists clutched their shopping bags, smirking. But his housemaid, Amara, stood empty-handed, tears streaming down her face. Then his voice cracked. "What have I become? Have you ever watched someone publicly humiliate a good person just to prove their power? This is one of those African stories, a real-life story about crossing the line between cruelty and grace. Because what happened next became the most shared, touching story of the year, an African folklore for the modern age. These life stories prove that character reveals itself in the strangest ways. But we're getting ahead. 72 hours earlier, Thursday night, the announcement that destroyed everything. Thursday evening, Okonkwo Estate, Victoria Island, Lagos. 200 guests filled the marble courtyard under strings of golden lights. A jazz quartet played near the fountain. Servers in white gloves carried trays of champagne. This wasn't a fundraiser. This was a show. Mr. Okonkwo, 55, self-made industrialist, widowed 3 years, stood at the podium adjusting his gold signet ring. The engraving caught the light. Integrity, 1975, his father's birth year. He'd worn it every day for 30 years. "Ladies and gentlemen," his voice cut through the music, "thank you for another record quarter. As you know, I believe in measurable results. In business, in charity, and now, in marriage." Laughter rippled through the crowd. Phones lifted to record, "I've decided to remarry, but I won't rely on matchmakers or chance. I've designed a test." Guests leaned forward. Okonkwo smiled. 3 exceptional women have agreed to participate. He gestured toward the front row. Chioma Nwosu, fashion influencer, 2 million followers. Ngozi Okeke, corporate lawyer, Harvard MBA. Zainab Ibrahim, private banker, generational wealth. "Please stand." The 3 women rose in designer gowns. Cameras flashed. Applause erupted. Okonkwo raised his hand. Silence fell. "Each receives my Platinum American Express. No limit, 24 hours. Friday 8 a.m. to Saturday 8 a.m. They buy whatever they want. Tomorrow night at our gala, I reveal their purchases publicly. The woman with the best judgment receives my proposal." A venture capitalist shouted from the back. "Stress testing for compatibility. Brilliant." Okonkwo's butler, Edmund, 62, 30 years of service, approached with a whisper. Okonkwo's eyebrows lifted. He nodded slowly, grin widening. "Edmund suggests we include a control subject. For scientific accuracy." He scanned the courtyard. His gaze landed on a woman in a black service uniform, refilling water glasses near the garden gate. She froze mid-pour. "Amara, come here." Silence dropped like a curtain. Then someone giggled. Then another. Within seconds, laughter spread across the courtyard. Amara, 34, house staff, 4 years of service, stood motionless. The water pitcher trembled in her hands. 200 faces turned toward her. "Don't be shy." Okonkwo's tone dripped false warmth. "Every woman deserves opportunity. Even the help," the crowd roared. Chioma leaned toward Ngozi, voice loud enough to carry, "Does she even know what sex is?" More laughter. Someone recorded the moment on their phone. Amara set down the pitcher. She walked toward the podium, eyes fixed on the tiles. She knew every crack in this marble. She'd scrubbed these floors 1,000 times, but she'd never stood here. Not like this. Okonkwo extended his hand. She kept hers at her sides. "Staff protocol, never touch the master in public." He withdrew his hand, amused. "Ladies and gentlemen, this ring," he tapped the gold band, "represents my family's legacy. My father built schools. I built a foundation. Perhaps Amara will learn something tomorrow about value, about vision, about what separates." He paused for effect. "The builders from the staff." Applause thundered. The 3 socialites posed for photos, blowing kisses. Amara returned to the shadows. No one noticed her hands shaking. Edmund distributed 4 black envelopes embossed with gold. 8 a.m. tomorrow. Instructions inside. The party continued. Amara cleared glasses until midnight. What happened in the shadows? Amara earned N85,000 monthly across 3 jobs. House staff, N45,000. Weekend market vendor, N25,000. Night cleaning at the dialysis center, N15,000. Her mother's kidney failure required treatments costing N120,000 per month. Amara borrowed N35,000 every month from her church's mercy fund. She repaid N5,000 weekly without fail. The elder never asked questions, just handed her the envelope and squeezed her shoulder. 6 weeks earlier, Amara's nephew Kelvin, 8 years old, top of his class, applied for the Okonkwo Foundation scholarship. The foundation's billboard loomed outside the estate gates, 20 feet high, education for every child since 1998. It showed Okonkwo handing textbooks to smiling students. Kelvin's application was rejected. Reason listed: household income below sustainability threshold. The foundation required parents to earn N150,000 minimum to prove educational commitment. Families below that were classified high-risk investments. Amara's sister, a public school teacher, earned N95,000 monthly. Not enough. Meanwhile, Okonkwo's foundation filed public disclosures as required under the Companies and Allied Matters Act, Section 43. Last year's report: N0 in charitable donations, N12 million in administrative costs. It was a legal tax shelter. Everyone in Lagos business circles knew. No one challenged it. Legal didn't mean honest, but it meant safe Friday. 8 a.m. Edmund delivered the envelopes to each woman. Inside, a platinum card and a handwritten note: buy what your heart values. The truth reveals itself at 7 p.m. Saturday. Amara opened hers alone in the staff quarters. The card was cold and heavy. She'd never held anything like it. Her reflection stared back from its metallic surface. By 8:15 a.m., paparazzi motorcycles trailed Kioma's Range Rover toward Lekki's luxury district. Amara took the Danfo bus to First Bank, Marina Branch. New cards required in-person activation. She waited 40 minutes in the queue. When she reached the counter, she slid the card across. The teller, a man her age in a starched blue shirt, swiped it. His expression shifted. "Where did you get this?" "My employer." "Your employer?" He didn't blink. He gestured to a security guard. "Madam, step aside, please." Within minutes, Amara sat in a windowless back office. 2 guards flanked the door. The branch manager made phone calls, speaking in low tones. 90 minutes crawled by. Amara sat with her hands folded, staring at a water stain on the ceiling. A fax machine beeped. The manager scanned the paper. "You're cleared." No apology. No explanation. Just a curt nod toward the exit. Amara walked into the late morning heat. The card sat in her purse like a stone. Her phone buzzed. Text from her sister. "Mama's machine acting up. She's in pain. Dialysis postponed. Can you help?" Amara stopped on the sidewalk. Lagos traffic roared past. Hawkers shouted prices. The sun hammered down. 22 hours remained. She looked at the card one more time, then at her sister's text. The city moved around her, indifferent. And somewhere across town, 3 women were already shopping. Friday, 10:30 a.m., Lekki Shopping District. Amara watched from across the street as Kioma emerged from Hermes, clutching 3 orange bags. Her assistant filmed while fans crowded for selfies. Kioma posed, laughed, blew kisses. The bags probably cost more than Amara earned in a year. Amara turned away. Her phone buzzed. Text from her sister. "Mama's machine broke. Dialysis postponed till tonight. She's hurting." Amara's chest tightened. She walked toward the main boulevard, passing store windows she'd never enter. Gucci, Prada, Louis Vuitton. Security guards tracked her with their eyes. She stopped at a pharmacy. Through the glass, she saw the shelf holding her mother's real medication, Nephrocare, the kind that actually worked. 3 months' supply, N180,000. The platinum card sat in her purse, heavy, waiting. She pushed the door open. Cold air hit her face. She approached the counter. Nephrocare. 3 months' supply. The pharmacist nodded, reaching for the shelf. Amara's hand moved to her purse. Her fingers brushed the card's metallic edge, then stopped. If she bought this, what would Okonkwo see? A desperate maid stealing opportunity for herself. Proof that poverty makes you selfish. Proof he was right. Actually, her voice cracked. "Never mind, sorry." She left before the pharmacist could respond. Outside, she sat on a bench, hands shaking. Around her, Lagos roared. Traffic, hawkers, heat. She closed her eyes and prayed without words. When she opened them, a bus was pulling up. Gabagada General Hospital route. She got on. Across town, social media exploded. Ngozi live-streamed from Echo Hotel Spa. Full-body massage, mani-pedi, and tomorrow night. Maybe a ring? Comments flooded. Queen? This is strategy. Marry him, sis. Zainab posted from a BMW showroom. Photo with car keys. Caption, test driving my future. Within an hour, Jan Okonkwo bride test was Nigeria's top trend. Think pieces appeared. Feminists debated empowerment versus objectification. Business blogs praised relationship due diligence. Gossip sites posted paparazzi shots of all 4 women. Amara's photo, blurry, outside the bank went viral with captions, "The maid who thought she had a chance." One tweet, "Rich people really make their staff compete for sport." Amara never saw any of it. She didn't have time for Twitter. 3:15 p.m. Bagada General Hospital, 3rd floor. The dialysis center smelled like antiseptic and exhaustion. Amara had cleaned these floors for 2 years, night shifts after her other jobs. She knew every crack in the linoleum. Her mother sat in Bay 4, hooked to the backup machine. The main unit had failed that morning. Pain creased her face. "Amara, you didn't need to come. I wanted to." They sat in silence. Holding hands while the machine hummed, Dr. Adeyemi appeared, 58 silver hair, eyes that had seen too much. He gestured Amara into the hallway. "Walk with me." He led her to a window overlooking the pediatric oncology ward. Through the glass, Amara saw children in beds, bald heads, IV lines, some parents sleeping in chairs. Some beds had no parents at all. "Government cut our funding last month," Dr. Adeyemi said quietly. "We have 52 children mid-treatment. Leukemia, lymphoma, brain tumors. We can afford 8 more weeks of medication. Then we start choosing who lives." Amara's throat closed. One little girl, 6 years old, bald, impossibly thin, sat up in bed, coloring a picture. She dropped her crayon. It rolled under the bed. She reached for it, but her IV pulled taut. She couldn't bend that far. She started crying. A nurse rushed over, retrieved the crayon, pressed it into her small hand. The girl clutched it like treasure, still crying. "That's blessing," Dr. Adeyemi said. "Stage 3 leukemia, responding well to treatment. But if we stop her chemo now," so he didn't finish. "How much?" Amara's voice was barely audible. "Excuse me." "To finish. All 52 treatments." He pulled out his phone, scrolling through numbers. "847,000. 3 months of pediatric chemotherapy. FDA approved, temperature controlled. We've begged the ministry. Applied for grants, nothing. $47,000. Amara's hand moved to her purse. "Why do you ask?" The doctor studied her face, just curious. "Amara." His tone softened. "You volunteer here every Sunday. You pray with families. You're good people. But I don't need good people. I need an 847,000. Below, Blessing had stopped crying. She was coloring again, tongue stuck out in concentration. Something clicked in Amara's chest. Clear and absolute, if someone donated. Anonymously, how? Dr. Adeyemi blinked. "You're serious?" "Hypothetically." He wrote on a card. "Hospital Foundation account. Any amount. Donor name on public registry unless you request anonymity. Tax deductible under Section 40. Receipt in 24 hours. He handed her the card. "Don't do anything that hurts you." "I know your situation." "I won't," Amara returned to her mother. They sat until the treatment finished. She helped her onto the bus, waved as it pulled away. Then she walked back inside. 3:35 p.m. Hospital administrative office. A tired accountant sat behind a desk buried in paperwork. "I need to make a donation." "Amount?" "Anarchy 47,000. The woman's head snapped up. "I'm sorry?" Amara placed the platinum card on the desk. Pediatric oncology. 3 months of treatment. 52 children, the accountant stared. "Are you certain?" "Yes." "Donor name?" Amara hesitated. The receipt would show the cardholder's legal name, Okonkwo's name. He'd see everything. But she could request public anonymity. Anonymous. For the public record. Understood. But the receipt will show the cardholder for processing. That's required by law. That's fine, the machine beeped. Approved. The accountant printed the receipt. Okonkwo Industries Ltd. Pediatric Oncology. Fund N847,000 Tinosilla. Gibagada General Hospital, Friday, 5:47 p.m. Amara folded it carefully. Would you like to meet the children? No, thank you. I have to go. She left quickly before emotion could break through. Outside, the sun was setting, painting the city gold. Amara sat at the bus stop. Her hands were steady now. Her breathing calm. For the first time in years, she felt peace. Then her phone buzzed. Her sister had forwarded Kioma's Instagram. N2.1M shopping spree. Diamonds designer champagne brunch. Teres Okonkwo bride test and living my best life. 2.1 million naira on bags and champagne. Amara had spent 847,000 on children's lives. She turned off her phone, but she wasn't. Finished 6:40 p.m. hospital gift shop. The tiny shop sold flowers and get-well cards. In the corner, a small display held handmade items. Wooden crosses, beaded bracelets, carved angels. Local artisans donated them. Proceeds went to patient families. Amara picked up a wooden cross on a leather cord. Simple. Beautiful. She thought of Blessing. Crying over a dropped crayon. N650, the elderly shopkeeper said. Amara used the card one last time. The woman wrapped the cross in tissue paper. This for someone special. Yes, someone who needs to know she's not forgotten. Just p.m. Okonkwo Estate. Staff quarters. Amara placed the small wrapped cross on her nightstand beside the hospital receipt. Total spent, N847,650. Tomorrow night, everything would be revealed. She'd be humiliated. Probably fired, but tonight 52 children would live. And one little girl would have something to hold during her treatments. Amara lay down fully clothed. She stared at the ceiling, thinking of Blessing's small hands clutching that crayon. Then she closed her eyes. For the first time in months, she slept without fear. Saturday, 9:15 a.m., Okonkwo Estate. Okonkwo was reviewing quarterly reports when his phone rang. Unknown number, Mr. Okonkwo. Dr. Adeyemi, Director of Gibagada General Hospital. Okonkwo didn't recognize the name. Yes? Sir, I'm calling to express our profound gratitude for yesterday's donation. Annexed 47,000 to our pediatric oncology ward. You've saved 52 children. We'd like to honor you tonight at your gala with our humanitarian award. The children made you a thank you card. Okonkwo's pen stopped. I'm sorry, what donation? Yesterday evening, 5:47 p.m., your platinum card. Anytime 47,000 to our foundation for 3 months of chemotherapy treatments. There's been a mistake. I didn't authorize any. Sir, I have the receipt. Okonkwo Industries Ltd. Your corporate tax ID. It's already in our public charity database per Section 40 requirements. Okonkwo's jaw clenched. Email me that receipt, now. The attachment arrived 30 seconds later. Okonkwo Industries Ltd. Pediatric Oncology, Fund N847,000. Gibagada General Hospital. Friday, 5:47 p.m. card number. His company name. His signature tax ID. He dialed his accountant. Pull all 4 test card statements immediately. Sir, it's Saturday. Now, 9:45 a.m. The statements covered his desk. Kioma, N2,147 300. Jewelry, bags, champagne. Spasingozi, N1,689 500. Spa package, Paris flight. Luggage, Zainab, 1,932,000. BMW deposit. Fine dining. Amara, N847,650. Hospital donation plus gift shop. 2 transactions. 1 location. A hospital. Okonkwo leaned back, fingers pressed to his temples. His gold ring caught the light. Integrity, 1975. He stared at the numbers. Clever. Extraordinarily clever. She'd found the perfect loophole. Donate his money to charity. Force his name onto the receipt. Position herself as selfless while making him look philanthropic. She'd weaponized his own test against him. It was almost beautiful. Tonight he'd expose her. Call out the manipulation. Applaud her intelligence. Then disqualify her for gaming the system. The test measured personal judgment, not public relations stunts. He smiled coldly and called his event coordinator. Confirm Dr. Adeyemi's attendance tonight. Front row seating. I want the hospital delegation visible on camera. They're bringing children from the ward, sir. Is that perfect? Make sure they're positioned for maximum visibility. He'd let the whole performance play out. Then he'd reveal the truth. His housemaid had tried to outsmart him. The audience would eat it up. Tact AM, pre-gala meeting, private study. Okonkwo summoned all 4 women. The 3 socialites arrived together, laughing. Amara came last, silent. Ladies, sit. I'm previewing tonight's reveals. The projector descended. Kioma Nwosu, N2 147 to 300 photos loaded. Diamonds. Designer bags, champagne brunches. I invested in looking worthy of the Okonkwo name. Kioma announced. Image is everything. Applause from Ngozi and Zainab Ngozi Okeke. N1 680 9500 spa receipts. Airline tickets, Gucci luggage. Self-care and sophistication, Ngozi said smoothly. Their power couple needs a refreshed worldly partner. More applause, Zainab Ibrahim. N1 1932,000 BMW showroom. 5-star restaurants. I test drove the future Mrs. Okonkwo's lifestyle. That's called due diligence. The 3 women high-fived Amara staff. N80 47,650. The screen showed only text Jibagada General. Hospital. N8 47,000 hospital gift shop. Thanks to 50 silence crashed over the room. Kioma laughed. A hospital? What did you buy? Medical equipment to flip on Jumia? Zainab snorted. Career change from maid to... What, nurse? Ngozi smirked. This should be entertaining. Okonkwo raised his hand, quiet. Amara N8 47,000 at one hospital. What did you purchase? She didn't look up. Her voice was barely audible. Treatment. Treatment for yourself. No, sir. Then for whom? Her hands gripped the chair arms. 52 children. Pediatric cancer ward. Government cut their funding. They needed 3 months of chemotherapy. I gave them that. Dead silence. Kioma's smile froze. Ngozi stopped examining her nails. Zainab stared. Okonkwo leaned forward. You donated my money. To charity? Yes, sir. How convenient. His tone turned to ice. You found a way to make me look philanthropic, while positioning yourself as noble. Excellent strategy, Amara, really. I'm impressed by the sophistication. It wasn't strategy, no? He stood, circling behind her chair. You spent my money in the one way that makes you look selfless, and me look generous. You forced my name onto a charity receipt that's now in the public database. And tonight, a hospital director will thank me in front of 500 guests for a donation I didn't make. That's not strategy? I requested anonymity. He stopped. What? I asked them to list it as anonymous donor. They said the receipt would still show your name for legal compliance, but the public registry would keep me anonymous. I wasn't trying to make you look good. Okonkwo studied her face. She met his eyes now, steady, unafraid. Either she was telling the truth, or she was a far better actress than he'd given her credit for. And the N650? He asked. A wooden cross. For a little girl with leukemia. She needed something to hold. Kioma muttered to Ngozi. Oscar-worthy performance. But something in Okonkwo's chest twisted. He pushed it down. Here's what will happen tonight, he said. I'll present all 4 reports to our guests. They'll see your purchases, hear your explanations, and vote. Majority wins. Democracy in action, he smiled. The 3 socialites looked confident. Amara looked small in her chair. Dismissed, they filed out. Amara last. Okonkwo returned to his desk. He pulled up his laptop and typed, Bagada General Hospital Pediatric Oncology. News articles loaded. Funding crisis. 52 children face treatment shutdown. Parents beg for help as cancer ward runs dry. Government cuts leave dying children without hope. All dated within the past month. Okonkwo sat back. If Amara wanted to manipulate him, why not buy something impressive for herself? Designer clothes for the gala? Jewelry she could return Monday? A smart investment she could defend? Why dying children? He shook his head. No, she was clever. She'd researched what would play best emotionally. This was calculated. It had to be, because if it wasn't, he didn't finish the thought. His PM Okonkwo couldn't focus. He kept returning to the hospital receipt. The timestamp 5:47 p.m. After banking hours, after shopping districts closed. While the other 3 women were posting their luxury hauls on Instagram, Amara had been at a public hospital in Gbagada, one of the poorest districts in Lagos. He opened his browser again. This time he searched Bagada General Hospital reviews, hundreds of posts. Patients describing overcrowded wards, broken equipment, nurses sleeping at work from exhaustion. Then he found a comment from 6 months ago. Special thanks to the night cleaning staff, especially Amara. She prays with patients' families and never complains. She's an angel in this hellhole. Okonkwo stared at the screen. His housemaid worked night shifts, cleaning a hospital, while working for him during the day, and selling vegetables on weekends. 3 jobs. Why 3 jobs? He called Edmund. Amara's personnel file. Bring it. 5 minutes later, Edmund handed over a thin folder. Inside, application form from 4 years ago. Emergency contact, sister, phone number. Listed dependent. Mother, medical condition. Chronic kidney disease, no salary history. No background. She'd been hired on a referral from the church. Okonkwo closed the folder. He picked up his phone, hesitated, then texted his lawyer. Pull Okonkwo Foundation tax filings. Last 3 years. How much did we donate? Response came within minutes. N0 charitable giving. N12M administrative costs. Legal but optically challenging. Okonkwo set down his phone. His 20-foot banner outside read, Education for every child, since 1998. His foundation had given N0 in 3 years. His housemaid had given N8 47,000 in 1 day, with his money. But still, he looked at his gold ring. Integrity, 1975. His father had worn this ring while building free schools. His father died with nothing in savings and everything in legacy. What was Okonkwo's legacy? A tax shelter and a billboard? No, he was overthinking this. Amara was smart. She'd gamed the system brilliantly. Tonight he'd expose it. The crowd would see through it. Justice would prevail. He was certain, almost certain. 30 for PM. Green room backstage. Okonkwo's event coordinator knocked on his dressing room door. Sir, the hospital delegation arrived early. Dr. Adeyemi brought 12 parents and some of the children, from the cancer ward, bald, in wheelchairs, some with IV poles still attached. They made you a poster-sized thank you card. Every child signed it. They're asking if you'll meet them before the gala. Okonkwo's throat went dry. Where are they? Green room B, he should say no. Send Edmund with pleasantries. Wait for the stage reveal. But his feet carried him down the hallway, green room B. He opened the door. 12 families sat in folding chairs. Parents in their Sunday best, worn but clean. Children, some bald, some with scarves covering their heads, some impossibly thin, sat quietly. No running, no noise. Cancer had stolen their childhood energy. In the center, Dr. Adeyemi stood holding a poster board covered in crayon signatures and handprints. Everyone stood when Okonkwo entered. Mr. Okonkwo, Dr. Adeyemi's voice cracked. We can't thank you enough. A little girl in a wheelchair, 6 years old, bald, clutching a wooden cross on a leather cord, rolled forward. Mr. Okonkwo, I'm blessing. You saved my life. Okonkwo couldn't speak. The poster board was covered in children's handwriting. Thank you, Mr. Okonkwo. God bless you. You are my hero. I get to see my 7th birthday because of you. One drawing showed a stick figure man with a halo, holding hands with stick figure children. Okonkwo's vision blurred. We'll present this on stage tonight, Dr. Adeyemi said. During your award. No. Okonkwo's voice came out strangled. Not tonight. I need to. We'll reschedule. Confusion rippled through the parents. Sir, the children are tired. We can't bring them back. Some won't be strong enough next week, please. Just 5 minutes on stage. Let them thank you. Okonkwo looked at Blessing. She smiled up at him, holding that wooden cross. The cross Amara had bought with N650. He couldn't finish. His phone buzzed. Text from his event coordinator. Livestream going live in 30 minutes. 85,000 viewers already waiting. Press is here. Ready? Okonkwo looked at the faces staring at him. Grateful, hopeful, believing he was good, but he wasn't good. He was a fraud in a tuxedo with a gold ring that meant nothing. Please wait here, he managed. I'll call you when it's time. He left before anyone could respond. PM backstage. 15 minutes until curtain. 500 guests seated. Cameras live. The ballroom buzzed with anticipation. Okonkwo stood in the wings, bow tie strangling him. His gold ring felt like a shackle. Edmund approached. Sir, the 4 women are ready. Shall I seat them on stage? Through the curtain gap, Okonkwo could see his foundation's banner. Education for every child. Empty words on expensive fabric. He looked at his hand. At the ring his father had worn with honor. Then he pulled it off and put it in his pocket. "Sir?" Edmund's voice was concerned. "Give me 5 minutes. Then bring them out." Okonkwo walked to the stage entrance and looked out at the crowd. Influencers, businessmen, society women. His peers. His world. In 30 minutes he'd expose Amara's manipulation. The crowd would laugh. Justice would be served, or he'd be exposed himself. And he didn't know which terrified him more. The lights dimmed. The crowd quieted. It was time for 8 p.m. Grand Ballroom. 500 guests under crystal chandeliers. Camera crews positioned. The livestream counter climbed. 91,000 viewers. Lagos society filled the room. Business titans, influencers, politicians. Old and new money wearing their worth. Okonkwo's foundation banner stretched 20 feet across the stage. Education for every child, since 1998. 4 empty chairs waited under spotlights. Front row left side, Dr. Adeyemi sat with 12 families, children in wheelchairs, parents in their Sunday best. Blessing clutched a poster board covered in crayon handprints. The house lights dimmed. Silence fell. Okonkwo walked out to thunderous applause. "Good evening." His voice filled the ballroom. "Tonight isn't just a gala, it's a revelation." Phones lifted. Cameras zoomed. "1 week ago I designed a test. 4 women, 1 platinum card each. 24 hours of freedom. Their purchases would reveal their character." He gestured stage right. "Please welcome our participants." The 4 women entered. Keoma in gold sequins, Ngozi in emerald silk, Zainab in crimson couture, Amara in a simple navy dress, the same one she wore to church every Sunday. They took their seats. The socialites waved. Amara studied her hands. "We'll reveal each woman's choices," Okonkwo announced, starting with the highest spender, Keoma Nwosu, N2 147-300. The screen exploded with images. Diamond tennis bracelet, 3 Hermes bags, champagne brunch for 10 friends, spa treatments, sunset yacht photos. Keoma stood, microphone in hand, confident. "I invested in looking worthy of the Okonkwo name. A billionaire's wife must understand luxury, must move in these circles with grace. I bought preparation." The crowd roared. Influencers stood. Livestream comments flooded. "Queen behavior. She gets the assignment. Secure the legacy." Okonkwo nodded. "Confidence and vision. Ngozi Okeke. And 1,609,500 spare receipts. First-class Paris tickets. Gucci luggage. Private wine tasting." Ngozi stood elegantly. "A strong marriage needs balance. I invested in self-care and cultural sophistication. A refreshed, worldly partner is an asset." "That's strategic thinking." Applause erupted. Business executives nodded. Comments, CEO energy. "This is chestnut checkers." "Brilliant." "Balance and sophistication," Okonkwo acknowledged. Zainab Ibrahim, N1 932,000 BMW showroom. The X5 with temporary plates. 5-star dining. Designer consultations. Zainab's smile was sharp. "I test drove the lifestyle." Before any major investment, business or marriage, you conduct due diligence. I experienced what being Mrs. Okonkwo means. That's not excess. That's research. The room loved it. A venture capitalist shouted, "That's how you evaluate ROI." Comments, "High IQ move." "This is the one." Partnership goals. The 3 socialites looked at each other. Victory was certain. They'd already discussed splitting the runner-up consolation prizes Okonkwo had hinted at. Then Okonkwo turned to the 4th chair. And finally, Amara. The spotlight shifted. Amara didn't look up. "Our control variable. My housemaid. 4 years of service. Amara spent the least. But her choices was that remarkable. Amara, staff. N847,650 Gbagada. General Hospital. N847,000 Hospital Gift Shop. N615 no photos. Just numbers on black screen. Confused silence. Then someone laughed. Nervous laughter rippled through the ballroom. "A hospital," a woman called out. "Did she buy medical equipment?" Okonkwo's face was unreadable. "Amara, stand, explain." She stood slowly, trembling. "She didn't reach for the microphone. I donated it. To sick children. For chemotherapy. The laughter stopped. Kioma's smile froze. Ngozi put down her phone. Zainab's expression went blank. You donated my money, Okonkwo said, voice cold, to charity. Yes, sir? Without permission. You said buy what my heart values. He stepped closer, circling her like a prosecutor. How remarkably convenient. You found the one purchase that makes you look selfless, while making me look philanthropic. My card, my name on the receipt, my reputation enhanced by your cleverness. Gasps rippled through the crowd. That's not what? Not calculated? His voice rose. Ladies and gentlemen, her donation is already in the public database with Okonkwo Industries' name attached. Tonight I'll receive an award for generosity I didn't authorize. She weaponized my own test. Brilliant, really, the crowd murmured. Cameras zoomed tight on Amara's face. A tear slid down her cheek. I asked them to keep me anonymous, she whispered. What? I requested anonymity. They said your name would show on the receipt for legal reasons, but public records could list anonymous donor. I wasn't trying to help you. I was trying to save children. Convenient story now that you're caught. It's true. Before Okonkwo could respond, Dr. Adeyemi stood in the front row. Mr. Okonkwo, may I speak? Every head turned. Cameras swiveled. Okonkwo's jaw clenched. Dr. Adeyemi, please. The silver-haired director walked to the stage. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm the director of Gbagada General Hospital. Yesterday at 5:47 p.m., we received $47,000. That donation saved 52 children's lives. Government funding cuts left our pediatric cancer ward with 8 weeks of medication. This gift bought 3 more months. Dead silence. We're here to thank the donor. He gestured to the front row. 12 families stood. Children bawled from chemotherapy. Parents fighting tears. Blessing in her wheelchair, wooden cross around her neck. These are some of the children who are alive because of this donation. A gasp swept the ballroom. On the live stream, comments stopped. Just stunned emojis. 2 parents carried the poster board onto stage. Projection screen showed it close up. Children's handprints, crayon drawings, shaky signatures. Thank you for my life. You're my hero. I get to see my birthday now. Someone in the audience started crying. Then Blessing's mother wheeled her daughter toward the stage. Production assistants scrambled to help lift the wheelchair. Blessing rolled toward Okonkwo, wooden cross clutched in her tiny hand. She looked impossibly small under the stage lights. She stopped in front of him. Mr. Okonkwo? Her voice was a whisper, amplified by the microphone. I'm Blessing. I'm 6. I have the sickness that makes my hair fall out. The room held its breath. Last week the doctor said they couldn't give me my medicine anymore. Mommy cried, I cried. But then, she held up the wooden cross. A nice lady came. She gave me this. She said, hold this when you're scared. And Mr. Okonkwo will make sure you're okay. Blessing held the cross toward him. You made me okay. Thank you for not letting me die. Okonkwo stared at the wooden cross, at her bald head, at her skeleton-thin arms, at the IV port visible under her collar. His breath caught. He took the cross from her hand. His fingers trembled. The room was absolutely silent. He looked at Amara, tears streaming down her face, silent. He looked at Kioma. Designer gown, diamond bracelet catching light. He looked at his foundation banner. 20 feet of lies. He looked at Blessing. 6 years old, alive, something inside him shattered. His voice cracked. I didn't make that donation. Confusion erupted. What? Did he just say, I don't understand. I didn't donate that money. His voice grew stronger. Amara did. While I sat in my study counting profits, she was saving children I didn't know existed. He turned to the audience, to the cameras, to the world watching. You want a character test. I designed this to measure judgment. But the only person here with failed judgment is me. He held up the wooden cross. This cost N650. Amara bought it so a dying child would have something to hold during chemotherapy. You know what I bought last week? A N4 million painting I don't even like. I bought it because it was expensive. Because I could. His voice broke. My foundation. He pointed at the banner. That's a lie. We haven't donated 1 naira in 3 years. 0. It's a tax shelter, legal, empty, worthless. Gasps. Phones recording. The live stream exploded past 150,000 viewers. Amara spent my money better. In one day than I've spent it in 30 years. Tears ran down his face openly now. She saw dying children and gave everything. I see dying children and build banners. He walked to the podium, removed his gold ring, held it up for everyone to see. My father wore this while building free schools. It says Integrity, 1975. He died with nothing in the bank and everything in legacy. He set the ring on the podium with a sharp click that echoed through the silent room. I wore it while building nothing but my own wealth. I don't deserve this ring. I don't deserve this award. I don't deserve your applause. He looked at Amara. The only person on this stage with integrity is the woman I publicly humiliated as a joke. Then he looked at Blessing, at the poster, at the 12 families. His voice dropped to a whisper, but the microphone caught every word. What have I become? The question hung in the air like smoke. No one moved. Then Blessing wheeled forward. She reached up and took his hand. You became the man who saved me. Okonkwo fell to his knees, a billionaire in a tuxedo, kneeling on stage, holding a 6-year-old's hand, weeping. The crowd rose. Not applauding, just standing. Silent witness to a man breaking open. In the front row, Kioma quietly removed her diamond bracelet, set it on her seat, and walked out. The live stream comments were a river. This is real. I can't breathe. This is what the world needed to see. He just became human. 500 people stood in silence, while a billionaire learned what wealth actually meant. No applause came. The room held its breath as Okonkwo rose from his knees, still gripping Blessing's hand. Dr. Adeyemi wheeled Blessing back to her family. The 12 families quietly returned to their seats. The moment was too sacred for noise. Okonkwo stood at the podium, face wet, gold ring abandoned beside the microphone. I need to make commitments, public, binding, witnessed. He pulled out his phone, hands shaking, and typed while speaking. First, I'll match Amara's donation, $847,000 monthly for 10 years, to Gabagada General Hospital Pediatric Ward. Full public audit. Receipts filed within 48 hours per Section 40 compliance. Phones lit up across the ballroom. Second, every Okonkwo Industries employee's child receives full education sponsorship. Primary through university. Effective immediately. Starting with Kelvin, so he looked at Amara, your nephew. Retroactive to his denied application. Gasps from the staff section in back rows. Third, Okonkwo Foundation Board dissolved tonight. New independent non-profit led by Dr. Adeyemi. I have no vote. Only transparency obligations. Dr. Adeyemi stood, stunned. Okonkwo nodded to him. These children need someone who sees them. Fourth, N10 million microloan fund for market vendors. 0 interest. Managed by Amara if she's willing. Every eye turned to her. Amara stood slowly. Her voice was quiet but steady. I'll manage the fund, but I won't return to your employment. Silence crashed down. I forgive you for the humiliation, Mr. Okonkwo, for the test, for treating me like a joke. But I can't work for someone who needs a crisis to see people as human. The crowd held its breath. Okonkwo nodded. You're right. You deserve better. I'll run the fund from my community, where I live, where people can reach me without security gates. Understood. You'll receive full director salary, plus 4 years back pay for the dignity I stole. That's restitution, not generosity. There's a difference. Amara's eyes widened, but she nodded. The boundary was set. Forgiveness without reconciliation. Mercy without returning to harm. Okonkwo turned to the 3 socialites, still seated on stage. Kioma, Ngozi, Zainab, thank you for participating. The fault was mine, not yours. Kioma stood immediately and left without a word, just heels clicking on marble. Ngozi rose slowly. I'll donate my spa refund to the hospital. It's not much, but... She stopped. I'm sorry I laughed. She left quickly. Zainab remained seated, staring at her hands. Finally, I don't know what to say, then... Just think about what you saw tonight. She nodded and walked. Off. Dr. Adeyemi approached with Blessing's poster board. Covered. In tiny handprints and crayon drawings, Okonkwo accepted it. His fingers traced the shaky letters. Angels come in different ways. Keep the wooden cross, Dr. Adeyemi said. Blessing insisted. She said you need it more now. Okonkwo looked at the small cross in his palm. Tell 650, the most valuable object in the room. Tell her thank you. And tell her, his voice cracked, Tell her I'll try to deserve it. The families filed out. Parents nodded to Amara as they passed. She nodded back, tears still wet on her face. A young woman in a staff uniform approached nervously. "Mr. Okonkwo, I'm Patience, East Wing cleaner. My daughter is 8. She wants to be a doctor. You said scholarships." Okonkwo's voice broke. "Yes, what's your daughter's name?" "Grace. Grace gets her scholarship. I promise." Patience covered her mouth, crying. 3 more staff members approached. A gardener, a security guard, a cook, each with children's names, each with impossible dreams suddenly possible. Okonkwo wrote every name in his phone. By 9 p.m. the ballroom was nearly empty. The livestream had ended at 163,000 viewers. Okonkwo transformation trended worldwide. Amara stood to leave. "Amara," she turned. "Thank you," he said simply. "I didn't do it for you. I know." That's why it changed everything. She studied his face, saw something different there. Not redemption yet, but the beginning of it. "My pastor says God uses broken things," she said quietly. "Broken soil grows crops. Broken clouds give rain. Broken grain makes bread." She paused. "Maybe broken men can finally build something real." She left through the side exit, where staff always entered and left. Okonkwo stood alone on stage. His foundation banner hung like a tombstone. His gold ring sat abandoned. He picked up the wooden cross, held it to the light. One of the mothers had said on her way out, "My daughter thinks you're good now. Don't prove her wrong." That responsibility was heavier than any ring he'd ever worn. The ballroom was empty now except for cleaning crews starting their work. Okonkwo recognized some faces, people he'd passed for years without seeing. He'd built an empire measuring success by profit margins and banner sizes. Tonight, he'd learned the only measurement that mattered, whether a 6-year-old lived or died. He closed his fist around the wooden cross, and for the first time in 30 years, he prayed. 6 months later, Amara stood at her market stall in Tejuosho, morning sun painting everything gold. 3 stalls now, not 1. Tomatoes, peppers, yams stacked in neat pyramids. Customers lined up and she greeted each by name. "Mrs. Folake, how's your son's exam preparation?" "Amara, your okra is always the freshest." Behind her stall, a small office, just a desk and 2 chairs. A sign, Dignity Fund microloans. No interest. No judgment. 240 vendors funded. A seamstress. A phone technician. A plantain chip seller. Each building something real. Her mother sat nearby, healthy again, knitting and humming hymns. Kelvin ran up with straight A's on his report card. The scholarship he'd been denied was now his foundation. Across Lagos, Okonkwo lived in a modest Yaba flat. No mansion. No awards on walls. Just Blessing's poster and the wooden cross on his desk. Every month, N8 47,000 transferred to the hospital. Public receipts filed within 48 hours. No exceptions. Every Thursday he volunteered at Bagada General. Mopped floors. Sat with families. Learned children's names. No cameras. No press. Blessing was cancer-free. 1 year in remission. Her letter sat framed beside the cross. "Thank you for letting me grow up." His gold ring stayed in a drawer. He didn't need it anymore. The hospital's new pediatric wing opened with a plaque. The Anonymous Angel Ward. 52 children survived. 12 in full remission. The rest fighting with medicine and hope. Ngozi now ran a pro bono legal clinic for families drowning in medical debt. Chayoma taught digital marketing at a community center. Zainab moved to Dubai and never looked back. Not everyone changes. That's on his evening. Amara's small apartment. She sat by the window, wooden cross marking pages in her Bible. Her mother slept peacefully. Kelvin studied at the kitchen table. Lagos hummed outside. Car horns, hawkers, life in motion. Her phone buzzed. 45 more children need help next quarter. The fight continues. Dr. Amara looked at her mother, at Kelvin. At the cross, she typed, "I'll see what I can do, because wealth isn't what you keep. It's what you give when nobody's watching." These African stories, these real-life stories of courage over cruelty, remind us that touching stories aren't just African folklore for entertainment. They're mirrors. Life stories asking, what would you choose? What would you do? If someone gave you Nate 47,024 hours, what would your heart buy? Comment your truth below. Share your story witnessed class cruelty or quiet heroism. Drop your real-life stories below. The most touching story becomes next week's African Folklore feature. Subscribe. Never miss these African stories that prove kindness wins, one life story at a time. Next week, a poor farmer found a diamond, but what the rich landowner tried to steal will leave you speechless. Same courage, different battlefield. Until then, stay kind, stay humble, and remember, your heart's purchases reveal your true wealth.